Let me guess, you're a winger and you want to become unstoppable. Well, in this video, I'm going to share 5 habits that can take your game to the next level and make you a far better winger than you are today. But you're probably thinking, why should I listen to this guy? Fair question. I'm a university-level football gold medalist, and these are the exact habits that transformed my game. They didn't just make me slightly better, they completely changed the way I played. So I'd say I know a thing or two about becoming a better winger. If you genuinely stick to these habits and apply them consistently, I can almost guarantee you'll notice a significant improvement in your game. You probably watch football almost every day, right? Whether it's the Premier League, Champions League, or just random highlight videos on YouTube, you're always picking up something new from the best players in the world. But here's something most young wingers never think about. Every player has a different play style. Nobody plays exactly the same. Some rely on pace, some rely on intelligence, some love taking on defenders, while others are more about creating chances. And the only way you'll truly understand your own style is by watching yourself play. Think about it. Whenever you're watching your friends play football and one of them makes a terrible decision, you instantly notice it. You laugh, you point it out, and tell them exactly what they should have done instead. But when you're the one playing, you never realize the mistakes because you're too focused on the game itself. That's exactly why, from now on, whenever you play, record yourself. And no, the recording doesn't have to be in 2K or 4K. You don't need some expensive camera or perfect angles. Honestly, the quality doesn't matter at all. Just take your phone, open the camera, hit record, and place it somewhere so your full body is visible. That's literally enough. Believe me when I say this, once you start watching yourself play, you'll notice things you never realized before. Maybe you always cut inside even when the outside is open. Maybe you're holding onto the ball for too long. Maybe your first touch isn't as clean as you thought. Or maybe you'll realize you're actually making great runs, but nobody is finding you. You're basically getting a front row seat to your own play style football. And let me share a fact here. Do you know why top football clubs spend hours watching their own matches before the next game? It's not because they enjoy watching themselves. They do it because they want to analyze every little mistake they made and improve from there. They study themselves before studying the opposition. So if professional clubs can improve just by watching themselves play, imagine how much a young winger can improve. Trust me, this single habit can improve your game exponentially because for the first time, you'll actually see what everyone else has been seeing. Everybody has a favorite footballer, and if you don't, yeah, I got nothing to say. But assuming you're a winger, there's a very high chance your favorite player also plays on the wing. And even if he doesn't, just pick a really good winger. Someone like Olise, for example. Now the next time he plays, don't watch the match the way everyone else does. Watch him. And by watch him, I mean literally follow only him throughout the game. Whether he's on the ball or not doesn't matter. In fact, some of the biggest lessons come when he isn't even touching the ball. When I was a kid, whenever Messi used to play, there were games where I wasn't even watching the match. I was just watching Messi. Wherever he went, my eyes followed him. At that time, I didn't even realize it, but looking back, that habit taught me things that I probably would have never learned otherwise. See, when a winger doesn't have the ball, most people completely ignore him, but that's exactly where football IQ is built. Watch Olise's positioning when his team is building from the back. Watch how he keeps checking his shoulder before receiving the ball. Watch the little movements he makes to create space without anyone noticing. Look at when he asks for the ball and when he stays quiet. Follow the timing of his runs, when he decides to press, when he doesn't press, when he slows the game down, and when he suddenly attacks his defender one-on-one. You'll slowly realize that great wingers don't just rely on skills. Their movements without the ball make everything else easier. By the time they receive the pass, they've already created the advantage. And here's something I've personally noticed. When you keep analyzing a player over and over again, some of his habits naturally start becoming yours. You don't even have to force it. Maybe you'll start making the same runs. Maybe you'll begin checking your shoulder more often. Or maybe your positioning will automatically improve because you've seen it so many times. Believe me when I say this, your positioning when you don't have the ball is just as important as what you do when you finally receive it. Those tiny details are what separate good wingers from great ones. Most players only train with the ball, but the smartest players also train their eyes. And that slight edge in understanding the game will make you a far better winger than most of your peers. I was the type of player who constantly wanted to stay with the ball. And to be honest, when you're always around the ball, you naturally improve faster. That's why this habit became one of the biggest hacks I figured out during my playing days. Whenever I had some free time at night, I'd simply take out my football and spend some time with it. Now, before you think I'm talking about a full 1-hour training session with cones and drills, no, that's not what I mean at all. Most days, it was just simple things: juggling, one-touch touches, toe taps, rolling the ball around with both feet. Basically, all the things you can do alone, even if you're in a small room, your balcony, or a tiny corner outside your house. The goal wasn't to exhaust myself. The goal was to stay connected with the football. Honestly, I didn't like staying away from the ball. I was addicted to it. If I saw a football lying around, I'd somehow end up touching it. And looking back, I genuinely think that habit played a massive role in improving my overall game. Because here's what happens. Every extra touch you take is another repetition for your muscles. Your feet slowly become more comfortable with the ball without you even realizing it. Then, the next day when you step onto the pitch, your body already feels familiar with those movements because you've been feeding it those repetitions almost every single day. And if you're a winger, this becomes even more important. You're one of the players who'll probably have to beat defenders, control difficult passes, react quickly under pressure, and make decisions in tight spaces. All of that becomes easier when the ball feels like a natural part of you instead of something you're still trying to control. A lot of players think improvement only happens during team training, but that's simply not true. Those small 15 or 20 minutes you spend alone with the ball every day slowly add up. After a few months, you've already accumulated hundreds of extra touches that your teammates never did. That's where the gap starts to grow. So if you're serious about becoming an unstoppable winger, stop waiting for the next training session to improve. Find a football, spend some time with it every single day, and let those little sessions do their job. And if you want me to make a full video on how to train alone as a winger, comment "train alone" and I'll definitely work on it.
Focus on one aspect. I've seen so many wingers lose their focus because they try to improve 5 different things at once. They want to become an elite dribbler, a top playmaker, an incredible passer, score goals from everywhere, have insane pace, and defend like a fullback, all at the same time. But football doesn't work like that. If you're already good at dribbling, double down on it. If you're more of a playmaking winger, spend more time improving your passing and vision. Figure out what your biggest strength is and build on it first, because at the beginning, you can't just wake up one morning and decide, from today, I'm going to become the best dribbler, passer, playmaker, and finisher in the world. It simply doesn't happen like that. And I completely understand this because, as a fellow winger myself, I fell into the exact same trap. Every week I'd see a new football video on YouTube and suddenly I'd want to improve something different. One day it was dribbling, the next day it was long passing, then shooting, then defending. I was putting effort into everything, but I wasn't making real progress in anything. The moment I started focusing on one thing at a time, I improved significantly. Instead of trying to fix my entire game in 1 week, I'd spend my time becoming better at one specific area. Once I felt comfortable with that, I'd move on to the next one. That's when I actually started seeing results. And if you look at today's football, everything has become so systematic and robotic. That's exactly why players like Yamal stand out so often. They have something that they're unbelievably good at, and defenders know it's coming but still struggle to stop it. They mastered their strengths before worrying about everything else. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not telling you to become elite at only one aspect of football and ignore everything else. No, as a winger, you should absolutely aim to become a jack of all trades. You should be able to dribble, pass, shoot, cross, and understand the game, but take it one step at a time. Don't put unnecessary pressure on yourself by trying to become the greatest winger the game has ever seen overnight. First, improve your dribbling, then work on your passing, then your crossing, then your finishing. Stack one improvement on top of another, and before you know it, you'll become a much more complete player. Sometimes, improving faster isn't about doing more, it's about giving one thing your full attention until it becomes second nature, and then moving on to the next challenge.
And finally comes communication. This is probably one of the most underrated habits a winger can build, yet it can completely change the way your teammates see you on the pitch. As a winger, a huge part of your team's attack is going to come through you. You're constantly receiving the ball in dangerous areas, making runs behind the defense, and combining with your fullback and striker. So you need to communicate. Don't just expect your teammates to magically know what you're about to do. If you're making a run, call for it. If your fullback is overlapping, let him know whether you want the ball to your feet or into space. If you're about to get pressed by 2 defenders, don't panic. Communicate that very moment and help your teammates find the best solution.
Football becomes so much easier when 11 players are thinking together instead of individually. There are players whose presence is evident the second they step onto the pitch, and then there are players whose presence isn't evident at all. I'm talking about that first category. You don't always notice them because they're scoring goals every 5 minutes. Sometimes you notice them because they're constantly talking. They're organizing the press, asking for the ball, encouraging teammates, and making sure everyone knows what's happening around them. When you're playing football, communication is one of the most important skills you can have because your teammates need to trust you even when they can't see the entire field. If you shout press, they press. If you tell someone to cover the middle, they do it. And no, I'm not talking about captains. I'm talking about players themselves taking responsibility. If you never communicate, what it usually shows is that you're nervous to take control of the game. And if you do communicate but nobody listens, sorry to say this, but that probably means you haven't earned their trust yet. That's something you have to build over time. So make communication a daily habit. Every training session, challenge yourself to talk a little more than you did the previous day. Even if it feels awkward at first, keep doing it. Even if you're talking to yourself in the beginning, that's completely fine. As time goes on, your teammates will realize that you're making the right decisions at the right moments, and they'll naturally start listening. Believe me when I say this, the best wingers don't just influence the game with the ball at their feet, they influence the game with their voice as well. And once you develop that habit, your impact on the pitch becomes much bigger than just goals and assists. That's pretty much it, but remember this, don't rush your habits. Let them develop over time, and before you know it, you would have improved a bunch. Like and subscribe to False 10, and if you want to watch more videos on wingers, these 2 videos on your screen are definitely worth watching. And I'll see you in the next one.